Good American Family star Imogen Faith Reid on heartbreaking episode 5. She was terrified of Christine, and Michael was brainwashed. This post contains spoilers for Too Hurty Without It. Episode 5 of Good American Family, now streaming on Hulu. Living in England, Good American Family actress Imogen Faith Reid had never heard of Natalia Grace. There was one story, she says, about scouring the British media before her audition. It wasn't until she got the part that Reid discovered Natalia's story and all that had happened. The Hulu series is a dramatization of the real-life events of Christine, Ellen Pompeo, and Michael Barnett, Mark Duplass, the couple who adopted Natalia, a Ukrainian orphan with a rare and severe form of dwarfism. Each episode unfolds in flashback form, exploring what happened after the adoption. After exploring the Barnett's perspective and recounting the events that led to them eventually being accused of neglect, in this week's Good American Family, the series shifts to Natalia's point of view. For the torturous full hour, the audience sees Natalia living in the apartment the Barnetts dumped her in, having convinced themselves that she's actually an adult, and has deliberately fooled them into taking her in. The dingy studio apartment isn't even accessible for Natalia as she attempts to survive independently, while she also grapples with the idea of being abandoned by her family. For Reid, 27, Good American Family was her acting debut. She had various coaches helping her move like Natalia and perfect her American accent, since Reid hails from London. She also had to learn to go through the emotional ringer, as Natalia is deemed, especially by Christine, to be a threat to the Barnett family. With Pompeo, Duplass, and director Liz Garvis all on set, Reid says the cast were more than supportive of her. At one point during this episode, Michael Duplass, whom Natalia still considers to be her dad, comes to visit her, and Natalia doesn't want him to leave. During filming, Duplass shared advice with Reid to help her crack the emotional intensity she needed. She should treat the moment like a breakup. Here, Reid shares her experience working on the show, her process, and what she hopes the real Natalia Grace will see in her performance. There were so many amazing scenes. There was one scene that I did with Mark, and he gave me such amazing advice. It's when Michael visits Natalia, and she just wants him back. She needs someone, and he doesn't understand what's going on. He said, it's almost like a breakup. It was such a heartbreaking scene, and he's an incredible scene partner to shoot with. He was also just so sensitive to my emotions as an actor. That scene is so important because it really showcases Natalia as a child, as her actual age. She's found someone who she can relate to, and up until that point, she hasn't had that in the show. So it showcases her just finding a friend and finding her own self. Which she says, "No, I'm 8 years old. It was so sweet." It's a really lighthearted moment and fun. And of course, it all goes wrong from there. There were multiple moments because it's all so intense. The scene between Mark and me was intense. The scene with Ellen was tense, but again, Ellen was so amazing and always asking if I was ok. She did such a great job in the scene. It was quite demanding physically too, especially when Natalia had her tantrum. But it was great to get those emotions as Natalia out. I had to commend the cast and crew because everyone was just so supportive. I think she was just trying to get it right with her. She was terrified of Christine, and Michael was brainwashed, essentially. With that scene, she's pleading, "Please don't leave me. I'll do anything you want." She's just this child who didn't know any better, and it's so heartbreaking. Natalia still wanted her, Christine's, love because that's all she kind of knew. I think I just really wanted to show that justice. I wanted her voice to be seen and heard. Episode 5 was so heavy, seeing her on her own and abandoned. It meant a lot to do it and showcase her pain. I don't know if Natalia will watch it, but I hope she sees the light that I put into Natalia and the justice that I tried to fight for. I had an amazing acting coach who broke down the script with me, the character's intentions, and what she's going through. That all really helped me as someone who had never done a speaking role before. I also had an incredible movement coach to help me navigate Natalia's movement as I was playing my own version of Natalia. As a little person, I didn't want to imitate Natalia's movement, as we have different types of dwarfisms, but also to make it more authentic in my own body. I had an amazing dialect coach to help with the accent, and working with the show's executive producers all helped me create my version of Natalia. I worked with Anna Carneza throughout filming. I would walk around the room as myself, and then we would implement certain things. She would ask, "What would happen if you were walking and there was mud around you?" Or she would give me scenarios and say, "There are pebbles at the bottom of your feet. How would that affect you?" All those things helped me figure out how to move like Natalia. How would she move? How would she run? We would go through it all, and it was about finding my body, but also it was fun to explore because it was so physical. I was so nervous, but also so excited to just get going. The cast made me feel so at home and so comfortable. That first day was exciting for us all, and I remember everyone clapping for me because it was my first day. But it was incredible. I hope that people try not to judge others so quickly. If someone doesn't look like you or speak like you, we're all different anyway. We all take different paths in lives, and that is what makes us who we are. I think we're really lucky to be a part of the show that really delves into inclusivity and telling unique stories. It was so heavy. I couldn't stay in Natalia for so long. Props to actors when they do method acting. I'm a very playful person, and I need to laugh sometimes. At the end of the day, I put my headphones in. I would have my playlist, which was called Imi's Chill Playlist, where I just chill out, message my friends, let Natalia go. And yeah, that was an important moment in each day, just to wind down and feel like me again. Ariana Grande and her new song, We Can't Be Friends. I was obsessed with that, and I'd sing it on set. I'd listen to Pentatonix and their cover of Sound of Silence. I would listen to that all the time, and it really helped me wind down. It's been 3 months since the finale of Good American Family aired, and yet the dust still hasn't settled, especially for breakout star Imogen Reid, whose chilling confession about the on-screen drama is turning out to be even more harrowing off-screen. In a sun-drenched cafe in Santa Monica, Imogen sat down with a barely touched oat milk latte and nerves that hadn't quite left her since filming Wrapped. I used to say it was just acting, she says, adjusting the sleeve of her denim jacket. But now, I don't know. It felt too real sometimes, especially when it came to Christine. Christine, played with unnerving precision by veteran actress Marla Thorne, was the family matriarch whose steely glare and passive-aggressive micromanagement masked something darker. Fans couldn't get enough of the icy one-liners and perfectly timed sighs. But for Imogen, who played the rebellious daughter Charlotte, it was something else entirely. I was terrified of her, Imogen says simply. Not just Charlotte, me. When Marla got into character, she stayed there. She wouldn't talk to me between takes. Wouldn't even look at me, except in this surgical way. Like she was studying how to cut me down next. The atmosphere on set was never hostile in the traditional sense. No raised voices. No flung coffee cups or diva demands. But according to Imogen, there was a hierarchy. One that revolved around Christine. Everyone deferred to Marla. Even the director. She didn't yell, but when she walked onto the soundstage, it was like the temperature dropped 10 degrees. Imogen recounts one particularly disturbing rehearsal. It was a dinner scene, and Christine was supposed to tell Charlotte she was a disappointment. Simple, right? But Marla improvised this whole monologue about how Charlotte had inherited her father's weakness, and that she would never be truly loved unless she broke the curse of her bloodline. It wasn't in the script, and it felt personal. When asked if she ever confronted Marla, Imogen shakes her head. No way. You don't confront Christine. Not in character, and definitely not in real life. But Christine wasn't the only force Imogen found herself wary of. Her on-screen brother, Michael, played by newcomer Ezra Daly, also began to shift as filming progressed. Ezra was so sweet when we started, she remembers. Kind of shy, very bookish. We used to run lines at lunch and talk about music. But as Christine's character started taking over, he started changing too. Like he fell under her spell. Imogen describes how Ezra began shadowing Marla offset. He'd sit next to her in the green room. Started dressing more like her, turtlenecks, crisp slacks, that sort of thing. And the weirdest part, he stopped calling her Marla. He called her Christine. Always. Producers chalked it up to immersive acting. Method, they said. But Imogen wasn't convinced. It was like he was brainwashed. There were moments when he'd look at me like I was a stranger. Or worse, a threat. And when I brought it up to the crew, they brushed it off. Said I was overthinking it.